Hello, and this is Chapter 5 in Anderson's Environmental Economics and Resource Management. And this chapter is called Trade-offs and the Economy. So, to quote the first paragraph here, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Every decision is complicated by trade-offs between benefits and costs that can include direct expenditures, externalities, and opportunity costs. Many of the greatest dilemmas in environmental economics involve choices between long run and short run benefits and between environmental and financial gains. To harvest a tree today is to forego its future growth. To replace a meadow with a shopping mall is to forego the meadow's natural beauty and wildlife habitat. And to consume non renewable resources today is to forego their benefits for the rest of time. So this chapter is going to be is going to go a little farther than strict cost-benefit analysis to take into the consideration time, in particular net present value. And we're also going to look at different measures of economic activity and what their impact upon the environment might be. Now, the first section is going to be microeconomics in nature, but the second is definitely going to have a macro flavor to it. Okay, here we have a picture. And what do we have a picture of? We have a picture of fish caught in seaward Alaska. And the caption is, if we harvest too many fish today, there will be too few fish to catch tomorrow. So the benefits that we have today have to be matched with the cost of losing that resource tomorrow. So, as I said in the previous slide, the cost and benefits are not just in the present day, but they can definitely extend into the future. Okay, so why discount future benefits? So people often prefer to receive an award today than wait until the future. Um, and that's just a general basis of human nature. This will, thus this will discount future benefits in order to receive them now. Now, discounting is necessary because money received now can be invested to obtain even more money in the future. People generally do not like to delay gratification. So, and also, the later a benefit comes, the greater likelihood of not living to receive it. So, given that people prefer to receive benefits now, up to 90% of lottery winners prefer a lump sum payment now that is half of what they would receive in annual payments over several decades. So what discounting does is that it says, what do I receive today in order to equate benefits into future benefits into the future. Okay, our next slide is why discount future costs? Now, those same people would rather pay costs later than up front. It gives you more time to acquire the money. One can invest the money now and acquire more later. One could also die in the future and not have to pay the costs. So humans, being what we are, prefer to have benefits now while paying costs later. But to compare with discounted benefits, one must also discount costs. So to really get a sense of what the future benefits and costs are now, given different time frames, one has got to use the same measure in order to adequately compare the two. Like in your in the first paragraph in your book, I think it's the 5th edition, they talk about, let's see what they were talking about. Yeah, they're Yeah, they're talking about different using a common standard money as opposed to barter. Well, discounting uses a common standard, what's called the discount rate, to bring benefits and costs together in one metric. And now I'm going to chat a little bit about begin to chat a little bit about present discounted value, and your book calls it dynamic efficiency. Now, is to compare it with static efficiency. A static model depicts a situation in one period of time. It is easy to do cost-benefit calculations in a static sense. One example would be whether or not to recycle. So recycling decisions over the period of a year can be seen as a series of static analysis of one-day situations. So says Anderson. It may be that every day an individual weighs the costs and benefits of recycling and makes an independent decision one way or the other. So said person is not taking the future into account. Now things get more complicated when today's decisions affect the choices available in the future. Thus, dynamic analysis is called for because now there is a time element. So when today's decisions affect choices available in the future, dynamic analysis is appropriate. Your book has a very, very nice example of the choices involved in regarding the fate of a plot of land in Brazil. And the choices are, one could either sell the land, or actually one can use the land for cattle. One can use the land for rubber tapping, or one can sell the land for commercial development. Now, to quote your book again, the timing of the stream of net benefits from these options matters a great deal. To simplify the story, assume that there are two possible periods, this year and next. Suppose that the immediate sale of the land would bring net benefits of $1,000 this year, rubber tapping would bring net benefits of $500 each year, and cattle grazing would yield $1,000 in profits upon the sale of the cattle next year. Now, despite the equality of total payoffs, the preferred option of immediate sale is unambiguous. As we have seen, and as summarized by the principle of time value of money, it is preferable to receive a given amount of money sooner rather than later. Monetary benefits of $1,000 received this year could be invested at any possible rate of return for more than $1,000 next year. Make an immediate sale the clear choice. Now, if the choices were $950 this year, $500 for 2 years, or $1,040 next year, to take into consideration that the $1,000 received now can be invested to receive something later, we can compare these three with present value calculations. Okay, so again, like I say, if the choices are $950 this year, $500 each year, or $1,040 next, the best choice would be unclear. The best choice would be unclear, but we need to figure out present value calculation and the selection of a discount rate. Okay, present value calculations. Now, to simplify comparisons among a stream of costs and benefits that differ in timing, present value calculations determine the amounts paid or received in the future. So present value calculations are motivated in the natural desire to receive benefits now rather than in the future. Rate of time preference shows what it would take to be as happy in the future as you are today. And we have the discount rate. So in your book, they have an example of music downloads. If you would be indifferent between receiving 10 music downloads this year or 11 next year, your rate of time preference, or the discount rate, would be 10%. And this is a key quote. You would require 10% more benefits next year to be just as happy as if you received the benefits today. So the formula is present value equal future value divided by 1 plus R, where R equals the discount rate. Okay, so now what is the best option for the Amazon landowner? We assume a discount rate of 10%. So option 1, receive the $950 now, so there's no present value calculation needed. Option 2, receive $500 each year, and if you add years 1 and 2, you would get a value of $954.50. Option 3, receive $1,040 1 year from now. The present value of that would be $945.50. Again, using that calculation. So based on the present value calculations, option 2 is best given a discount rate of 10%. Okay, that ends this first portion of chapter 5.